Are you tired of the chaos that comes with organizing and storing your seasonal decorations? Moving to a new house? Or packing items away in the basement or storage unit? Say goodbye to the hassle with Smart Label's QR code labels. With Smart Labels, you can easily track all of your belongings. Simply stick the QR code label on your boxes, scan them with the Smart Labels app, and type in the contents. Next time you need to find something, you just need to scan the label, and the app will tell you exactly what's inside. No more guessing games or digging through boxes. Plus, you can add your photos, notes to each label, making it easier to stay organized. Stay organized, save time, and make your life stress-free with Smart Labels QR code labels. Get yours today on Amazon and Walmart.com and experience the convenience for yourself.
Welcome, everybody, back to the Labeled Paranormal Podcast, the podcast where we touch on anything and everything labeled paranormal. Today, we have a wonderful show for you. We have an amazing guest, the first of its kind, the first ever Starseed on our program. And I'm very excited to get into the world of Starseeds and activation and what does it all mean. So, yes, we have a wonderful guest for you, Maria Katalikova. She is a Starseed activator and quantum healer. She's the founder of Authentic You. Maria is known for her work in assisting individuals, particularly Starseeds, on their awakening journey. She offers various services, including soul realignment and quantum healing, and provides resources for Starseeds to lead, serve humanity, and live their life on Earth to the fullest. Maria, so happy for you to join us. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for inviting me. So exciting.
No problem. And also, Maria, I believe you're our first international guest. So congratulations. You'll always live on as our international guest. Can you let our audience know which country are you in right now?
So right now I am in Luxembourg, which is in the middle of Europe. I know that for a lot of people, they might not necessarily know. So it's between Germany, France, and Belgium. A little teeny tiny bit.
Absolutely. So I don't want to pat myself on the back, but I won a geography contest when I was in school when I was about 10 years old. So I know exactly where that is. You might know it from the map. Audience, you might know it from the map by being like this big on the map.
You can ride through the country in 1 hour.
So let me put that in American terms, everybody. It's the size of Rhode Island, and everything around it's the size of New York. So let's just put it in perspective that way. But Maria, thank you so much. I really appreciate it again. Why don't you, for our audience, I told a little snippet of your story, but why don't you share about your background and what you're currently doing?
Of course, yes, no problem. So obviously, as you can imagine, I did not start knowing that I'm a Starseed. So my journey didn't start like I was born and I knew who I was from the very, very beginning. So I took my time actually to fully awaken to who I am. First, going through the normal spiritual awakening journey, as many people go through, especially in the recent years. And only 3 years ago, more or less, I became aware and awakened deeper to the knowing that I am a Starseed and that I do not, my soul doesn't originate on Earth, and that I come from different places. I mean, of course, I remembered the very first origin that I have, and then more came through with time. So that's how, very briefly, if I can describe my journey, that's how it was for me. And even though I began, obviously, also my entrepreneurial journey and like the journey of helping others 7 years ago, it evolved a lot. And brought me now to what I'm doing currently, to help Starseeds to the same thing I did for myself. First of all, to awaken to who they are, reclaim all of their power, all of their knowledge, all of their gifts, so that they can begin, first of all, thriving into this world, because for many, many starseeds, the journey here is not easy. It can be very, very chaotic and very miserable. So my role is to help them with that in the first place. And as a second step, obviously, once we step into our power and our life is more or less in order, it never is, but we can finally begin serving humanity and stepping into our mission that we all have. Every single starseed who comes here comes with a mission. It's not just, to have fun here and just explore what it means to live on Earth. No, we all have a bigger mission than that. And my job is to help them get there.
Wonderful. Thank you for that definition. That's very, very thorough. I want to add, I've heard of Starseeds. I haven't really been an expert on them. And I know many, many people, especially the younger generation coming into their own now, that it's more talked about in that, in that era. But one thing, that I've had many guests on here with near-death experiences, right? And one thing that they say across the board, doesn't matter, not one, I hear it from all of them, is that when we come back to this realm, right? We come back to this dimension, whatever you want to talk about, we come back to Earth as our soul. We might not go to Earth. We might go to a different planet. We might go to a different reality than what it is here. So I just wanted to point out that sounds very common with some other people that I've heard, where if your previous life was on a different planet and you're a starseed here, it kind of coincides with that theory, right?
Well, I would say that everybody who had any sort of lives anywhere else but Earth, they would be a starseed now. What my personal definition of starseed is simply a being who have lived somewhere else prior coming here. This being said, there are also souls who never incarnated anywhere else apart from Earth. That's what makes them Earth souls.
Okay.
In contrast to starseeds, like that would be the main difference. Even though, of course, we all come from source. If we were to think about that,
yes,
we all come from the same
we all
place.
do.
Yeah. It's just the journey that we take from that place will be different, right? Not everybody comes to Earth. Not everybody lives here all of their lives. So.
Okay. Yeah, no, that seems definitely in line with the way I was thinking. If you could very briefly, what would a starseed feed being here, being a fish out of water, being somebody who's not, from here? What would be the beginning feelings they would have that, hey, maybe I wasn't from here?
Yeah, well, the first one that everyone experiences is this. First of all, the feeling of not belonging, the feeling of within you. So from the early age, even though when I didn't know who I was, I still felt like I don't belong. And I often looked up at the stars, thinking that somehow that's where my home is. It's unexplainable feeling that even if you don't know who you are, you still long for some place somewhere else that is not here. So that would be the very, very first, I would say, indicator for anybody.
From a young age.
Yeah, I mean, that was with me since I can think about it. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So that's the first thing is this isn't home. There's somewhere else that's home.
Yeah, and of course, you might joke around it, eventually, initially, but it doesn't go away. This is something that stays with you for life.
Of Starseeds. If you could give a good definition of it and maybe provide some examples for our audience.
Well, for me, I will give my definition is
sure. Yeah.
There are so many different
right.
there. So I'll just give mine. For me, as I already said before, so a starseed is a soul who have incarnations on other planets, on other stars, in other galaxies, even in other universes, apart from incarnating on Earth. And they came here right now at this time to serve humanity, to help, to assist humanity. I would say in the ascension process that is currently happening. You're probably aware of that, right? So that there's big awakening happening in ascension. So that's my personal definition. There is not more to that. It doesn't mean that our body is alien. It doesn't mean that we will have certain physical traits that would indicate that we are not from here. And that has nothing to do with that, because the body we have now is human. So we are taking the human body right now, which will be completely 100% the same as any other human body of a earth being, like of an earth soul. The only difference that we have is that we have that awareness that awakens with time of lives on other planets, on other stars, elsewhere than just Earth. So that's
wonderful. Thank you for that. Yeah, and thank you, because I wanted your definition and not maybe what an internet said or somebody else's, because your definition is going to be different than another Starseed's definition. And that's the beauty of the whole thing. But I'm glad you touched on that part, and to clear any confusion out for anybody in our audience that no, I am a human. I have a human body. I have a heart. I have organs. I have a brain. I have all of that. It's just your consciousness knows and has been awakened to your past self, past consciousness, past soul, whatever you want to call it. So when you talk about coming here and helping people on this planet, do you have any examples of what messages you want to impart on the human race or Earth souls?
Well, I would say it will be different for everyone. I mean,
okay.
It doesn't even matter if the Starseeds are coming from the same place, like if they belong to the same race. Yes, they will have common messages, around love, how to love yourself, how to better yourself, or about being more aware of what we really are. That we are not just a meat suit, but we have an energetic body that we don't actually have just energetic body. We have more than that.
Yeah.
We have many different bodies, and not just a physical one. So, and it's understanding that fullness of our nature that a lot of Starseeds bring here. For many people, they open doors to that awareness that, okay, you're not just this physical body that lives and breathes here. You also have others which all kind of intermingle and cooperate together, making you this basically multidimensional being, even if you are an Earth soul. So I would say the messages, like the concrete messages, will be very different from one Starseed to another, depending on what they want to talk about. My messages will be different already because my audience is actually Starseeds, even though I do have. Like when I tuned into my mission fully, it was clearly said to me that 80% of my time I need to work with Starseeds, and 20% of my time I can dedicate to working with Earth souls, helping them with their healing and ascension. So, which means the messages I will post or transmit, they are mostly for Starseeds to understand how to live here. How to stop that struggle that most of the time we experience, and how to tune into you. So, for example, one of the biggest messages I will tell to Starseeds, like, you need to literally integrate that human body that you have with that Starseed soul that you have, right? And stop rejecting that, like, I'm not a human or I am not a Starseed. It can happen in both ways, that there is this disbelief, of course, that can kick in and say, oh, well, it's just my mind inventing things. I'm not a Starseed. Or the opposite, like when Starseeds awaken to being who they are, it happened with me. We start saying, well, I'm not a human.
Yeah.
Which is funny to me now, because I went through that, through that phase when I was rejecting the humanity of myself. But eventually, of course, as I grew and I understood the whole, and remembered, it's not just about understanding or about remembering, I understood that it's about integration. It's about owning both of these aspects, because they both carry a lot of wisdom. Like other messages that I personally teach is that you hold a lot of wisdom inside your body that you can use to heal yourself, because your body is naturally possesses this natural healing ability that when you're connected to your body, you can activate and use all the time. Which means, like, if people were more connected to themselves, they wouldn't be as sick as they actually are.
Yeah.
Most of the time, people are just very disconnected. So I talk a lot about, like, for Starseeds grounding themselves to stop escaping, stop trying to escape, or at least wishing to escape, because that creates the disconnect, right? So that will be very different compared to if I just talked to people about their healing, right? I would be focused on completely different things. That healing starts with, connecting to yourself and knowing yourself and loving yourself and dedicating time to yourself and knowing that you create your own reality. I mean, I talk about that, of course, because it doesn't separate. But depending on who we are here to serve, I would say the message will be different for every starseed. So there is no rule.
Great answer. So appreciate that. When, let's say, okay, say you have somebody new who comes to you, do you have a test to determine whether they are an Earth soul or a starseed?
Well, I can see them.
Okay.
Starseeds or not, but I cannot tell. I'm not allowed to tell. So, because otherwise it undermines the whole journey. But of course it helps me to know who I'm talking with. But I don't let it transpire to them, because it's really the important aspect of everything of our journey here is the self-discovery. It has to come from within. At least that's how I have been instructed by my higher self, that I know that there are plenty of people who do starseed readings, like they can tell you your origins and stuff like that. I was instructed, no, you don't tell anyone who they are, you let them discover it. And like, I do have a process through which I will help them discover, because anyway, everything that we are and that we know is within. It's really, again, it's about establishing that connection with your soul. And once it's there, you can ask anything. So my role is this. I'm a kind of a guide on their journey of self-discovery, even though so many people, I said I could, but I'm not allowed.
Okay, so it's like one of your rules, right? It's one of your unwritten rules that was given to you.
My higher self rule, I would say, that's how I was told that I need to do that.
Okay, so just to clarify, I say, please tell me, am I an Earth soul or am I a starseed? You already know, but you're just guiding me to which way, you know what I mean, for my discovery. That's what you mean? Well,
yes, I mean, usually, of course, because I'm a starseed myself, most of the people who are drawn to me and to work with me, they are starseeds. That's also the spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. I like
most
that.
Most of the time, but even if I told them that you're a starseed, it doesn't mean squat. It really doesn't mean anything, because as long as you don't remember it from within, from something, that voice within yourself that tells you things, it will not change anything in your life. That's exactly why I'm not supposed to say. But of course, when people come into my world, I choose how to work with them. Depending on what I see, I have this intuitive choosing happens, that I know how I need to guide them and in what direction. Okay, but of course, also, I learned to be selective, and considering that I'm supposed to work mostly with starseeds, because I experienced when I worked mostly with people, what happens for me personally is that I get bored.
Well, yeah, I guess.
And then it's not fun anymore, and then work becomes work. And that's not the whole point. I mean, what I teach people, what I teach starseeds is that we're not supposed to be working here. We're supposed to be fulfilling our purpose. That eventually is something that feels light and expansive and fun, and of course brings money and financial abundance and everything and fulfillment. The second you feel it's heavy and it's like it's not fun, well, you're doing something that is not aligned. So for me, that's why I'm very selective who I choose as my private clients. Of course, people reach out to me, and then I will see whether I'm going to proceed or not. Before, when I was just at the very beginning, I was much less selective. I would just work with anyone. And yes, I burnt out. There was a moment that I burnt out and I didn't want to do it anymore.
But that was a lesson for you, though, too.
Of course, yes. I needed to understand that there is a way to do that. There is the right way for me, and I need to listen to that and not ignore the signs. When something is not feeling right, well, it's probably not right. And I don't even need to understand why sometimes. At the beginning, I was always trying to understand why something doesn't feel right. But eventually, it's just about trusting yourself. If something doesn't feel right, drop it and just go.
Wonderful.
You're called to go without trying to understand. Because understanding is just literally the ego play most of the time and not the soul. The soul tells you not your thing, go, move on.
Yes, absolutely. And, I've heard that, or I read that in research for this episode here, is that they are drawn to each other. And for whatever reason, everything works out for that reason. And when you get in front of somebody, who is another starseed, there's a level of comfortability that might not be with others, I should just say. So, you know, this is the first time learning about all this, and I would love to know more, in my personal life, but we'll get to that point when it comes. But let's, for the purpose of this, do you feel that, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to, friends and things like that, or lovers, do you feel that starseeds attract one another?
I I wouldn't say it's a general rule.
Okay.
It depends on the path that you chose for yourself. I would just think, because my partner is also a starseed, but unaware. He doesn't remember. I told him, I spit it out when I shouldn't have, but he doesn't remember it. And I would say there is a different level of understanding that happens between us compared to if I was in a relationship with a person who is not a starseed. Sometimes I say certain things that are easy for him to understand rather than for another person. But I know that there are plenty of starseeds for whom incarnating here is, for example, about experiencing human relationships. So they will be in a relationship with a human being. So there is no rule there, I would say, even though initially I believed that starseeds will be attracted to starseeds in terms of relationships. But no, with more experience and more investigation, I understood that's not the case. It depends on the choice you made.
Okay. Let's talk about, let's go back a little bit when you were talking about how you denied your human, being aspect of yourself. Could that cause, if you were in denial one way or the other, doesn't matter which way, could that cause some sort of ailment or disease or just a general unwell feeling, whether it's physical or emotional?
Absolutely. Yes. Because the second you deny any part of yourself, like you break the whole, you break the feeling of wholeness, which keeps you healthy. Because as long as you feel whole within yourself, your body works properly, and any sort of physical ailment will be taken care of, even if it happens. Sometimes it still can happen. You will feel more emotionally balanced as long as you're whole. And the second you split something from yourself, from your personality, from that whole, yes, there will be some distress that will be happening that can lead to disease, physical disease, because it's kind of the last level. Because, I can explain how that works, because I guess we will be moving to the topic of healing anyway. But basically disease, the physical disease, doesn't start in the physical body. As I said, we have different bodies. We have, in my awareness, we have at least 5. Maybe there is more, but that's what I'm aware of. And the disease actually starts in your energy body, and it just kind of pierces through all the other bodies. Before we have the spiritual body, which is more like a consciousness that we possess. But then there is like an energy body, there's a emotional body, there's mental body, and then the physical. So basically, the first impact happens in your energy body. So something hits you there, whether it's some shocking event in your life or anything. So it hits your energy body, and you might feel like not okay. But you might feel something is wrong, something is like off in your life, right? Yeah. But if you don't pay attention to what, and you don't ask yourself what's going on, why do I feel weird? Why do I feel restless or whatever, right? It will go further. It will penetrate further into the next level, right? It will be the emotional one where you might feel more distress emotionally. You will feel much less at ease with whatever you're experiencing. And again, that's where people start most of the time, because the emotional is already starting to be quite uncomfortable. That's where a lot of people shove it down and say, I ignore what I feel. I'm not going to take care of that. It will pass. It will go away. The thing is, it does go away because it kind of, you can numb yourself to the pain or to whatever you're experiencing. It's something that people can do. Just deny that that's what we are feeling. And it will go away temporarily. But what it will go further into is the next level, the mental one, where it will start creating stories that you tell yourself somewhere on a deeper level than consciousness, which is the most dangerous thing when we're telling ourselves things on a subconscious level, right? And because they will create what you experience further. They will impact what is going on in your reality further, right? And you might feel, I would say some mental diseases might start there as well. I'm not really, I would say, an expert in that, because I'm not really working with mental health, but it's more about, other aspects. But the beliefs that you create for yourself will always impact what is going on for you. Like if you start thinking to yourself, I'm crazy, well, you can drive yourself crazy. That's as easy as that.
Been there.
Yeah, so that's the thing. And eventually, if you don't address that level, it will go into physical one, where the body will show you, you know what, you ignored every other level, so here you go. Here's the big surprise for you. And it will translate into something. Depending on the level of distress you went through, it will be small or big, but the body is kind of the last level where all that intelligence system that you are will show you. And usually when something is not okay in the body, people panic and they go on to take care of it, right? But this is like the last thing, the next one is death.
Yeah.
There is nothing more. So people basically pay attention to what they are experiencing already too late, and they also start healing themselves in the wrong place because something physical happens and they start healing it on a physical level, while healing needs to happen on other levels where it began, because that's where the roots are. And when you might feel you have some heart palpitations, and you start popping some pills for that, the reason might be that you have been fucking anxious for a year.
Yeah.
You have been living with some sort of anxiety for a year because something happened and you haven't processed that, and then it accumulated like in an energy ball and inside your heart. And then here you go. The body finally told you, okay, you didn't listen to anything else. So here you go, the physical one, That's
wonderful.
How it happens.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense to me because, as it is right here on Earth, we treat symptoms, we don't treat the problem, right? So if you get a cold, right, you have a runny nose, your sore throat, whatever, you take medicine for the nose and the throat, not the whole virus, the disease that happens to you. So that makes a ton of sense to me. Plus, the reason why people might not believe in this stuff is all of our metrics, all of our data that's here on Earth, we need to measure. And we don't have any tool to measure the metaphysical world. We only have our, how many beats per second is your heart, data. So that makes a ton of sense to me about how, your body is the last line of awareness before death, like you said. So I can, if you're in tune with your soul and your spirit, you can stop that well before it reaches your body, or understand that if something hit my body, because we all get busy, right? And we might not remember all, self-care every single day. When something heals our body, we know, okay, it didn't, I have this now, but I need to fix other levels as well. So thank you for that. That was a wonderful explanation. Let's talk a little bit here about meditation. Do you personally meditate, and how has that affected you?
Yes, I meditate every day, and I made it my own practice. I have been meditating without interruption for the last 4 years. So every day for 4 years, but I started before that. Just before that, I was quite inconsistent. I couldn't do it. Imagining that, I started before my awakening happened, my first awakening, and I was very mental. Like I was really living in my head a lot, and I was a very mind-oriented person. For me, everything had to make sense. Everything had to be explained. And I was very much in my head, which means thoughts were like rushing all the time through my head. So my first experience with meditation was really quite challenging, where I couldn't at first calm my thoughts. So it took practice, dedication, and a lot of patience with myself to actually begin feeling how they slow down, how they float around in my head, but not like rush anymore. And then it progressed further and further and further. So I reached the point after my Starseed awakening where my meditation became one of my biggest main, I would say, healing tools through which I heal myself if something is going on, and also, of course, manifestation tool, because if I can sit with myself in stillness and go into some desired result that I want to create in my life, it helps a lot to do it in that meditative state, because we are in an expanded state of consciousness.
Are you tired of the chaos that comes with organizing and storing your seasonal decorations? Moving to a new house, or packing items away in the basement or storage unit? Say goodbye to the hassle with Smart Label's QR code labels. With Smart Labels, you can easily track all of your belongings. Simply stick the QR code label on your boxes, scan them with the Smart Labels app, and type in the contents. Next time you need to find something, you just need to scan the label, and the app will tell you exactly what's inside. No more guessing games or digging through boxes. Plus, you can add your photos, notes to each label, making it easier to stay organized. Stay organized, save time, and make your life stress-free with Smart Labels QR code labels. Get yours today on Amazon and Walmart.com and experience the convenience for yourself.
Mean to say that the second somebody starts meditating, that's where they will be.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't. 100% wasn't, because I couldn't even sit 5 minutes in meditation without itching somewhere and like, oh my God, like, I had to and whatever. It was that at the beginning. But now it's more, I can relax. I can calm down pretty fast. I don't take much time for that. And then I decide what I'm going to do sometimes. Or I just let my soul show me what is important today. Like guide me somewhere, what needs to be done. So sometimes it's healing, sometimes it's more exploration. I mean, one of my gifts as a starseed is traveling to other dimensions. So I spent a lot of time at some point doing that, like going to different places. And I'm not always aware where it is. I cannot always pinpoint where I am. Sometimes I do know. I would say that the key things that where I traveled, they were made known to me so that I can teach them to others. Because we do have a lot of resources that we can access as starseeds in other dimensions, where our race lives or other star races, live, because they all share between each other. It's not like you belong to this race, so you cannot use the tools of other races. It's not like that. In the universe, everyone is sharing. So these places I remember because I believe that they carry importance for others that I can teach to others. Other places I just visit and it's like beautiful, or like depends. Sometimes I'm brought to some barren desert and I'm like, okay, what am I fucking doing here?
Yes.
It depends. I land to different places. Sometimes I see some, otherworldly, obviously, creatures that I cannot really describe what they are. Sometimes I see these beautiful sceneries, and because I guess my soul craves some beauty that I cannot see here, so I go somewhere else. So it's very varied that way. But that's the meditation. It's the meditation that allowed me to do that with time, as I remembered myself, and that gift came kind of online to me. So it became very, very fun and very rich. And as I also said at the very beginning, whatever knowledge we have, whatever wisdom we carry, it's all within. So meditation can be a space of receiving multiple downloads if you ask the right questions, obviously. But it can also be just downloads that need to happen for you. Or I often ask a question: what does my audience, what does people I serve here need to hear? And it might not necessarily come in that moment, but then 1 hour later, I find myself frantically writing 5-10 posts. That I will afterwards share on social media because they kind of cover different things. That's where I know my question was answered. And now the information that needs to be shared is coming through in form of writing. Obviously, I'm writing really fast then. So meditation is an amazing tool that I would recommend to every single person, starseed or not. It doesn't even matter. If you are a person who is on the path of awakening, because not everyone is, I would say meditation is the straight way to that, like the straightest that you can get.
Yes, absolutely. I meditate as well, and I often tell people, because it's a practice, it's a technique. It's not you do it and the first time you're going to be successful. You have to stick with it, and oftentimes people, they want a result right away, and they'll give up before they reach that point of true calmness, whatever you're meditating for. You know what I mean? The answers you might receive connecting to your higher self. They won't get there. And it's almost like a form of selection for meditation. Like, if it was easy, then everybody could do it, and it's not special. You know what I mean? It's you need to work at it. You need to get better for that. So again, thank you for that. And let's talk about the healing and quantum healing. So, how do you heal only star seeds? Do you heal Earth souls as well? And what is quantum healing for our audience who might not know?
Yes, I will explain. Well, actually, I have two methods of healing. I probably
Okay.
will do both, but I'll
Great.
start with quantum healing because that was the first modality that was downloaded for me, like the Remember song came, and then the second one came 1 year later. And first I was using them interchangeably, and then I understood when one is more appropriate and the other one is more appropriate. So, but basically, quantum healing, it for me personally, because there are other methods out there which are called similarly, but probably don't do the same thing. I don't know. But for me, it means you are healing inside the quantum field. So you are accessing the quantum field. So it's basically a space of creation where everything is already created, that everything already exists, past, present, future, whatever you want, is all there. And you are going in that space with questions, basically. You ask questions that can allow you to download any sort of information that you need in order to heal. And usually in the quantum field, you can look into any situation that caused your current ongoing issue. Like usually I work in the quantum field with patterns, meaning something that repeats in your life over and over and over. You just cannot break that. For example, maybe you constantly have relationships with people who cannot commit, or you have some addiction that you broke it and then it started again. You broke it and it started again. That is a pattern that keeps repeating that you cannot break. So I usually go there for that with people. And how it usually happens there, what it means is that you can download any information that is relevant to when this was created. Because of course it could be created in this life, but it can also have been created somewhere else, in other incarnations that you've had. And the quantum field will show you where it all started and everything that you need to see about that specific event. And the advantage of it is that you don't need to be in the situation itself, you can observe it. Because I know that for a lot of people, whatever they have, like whatever they carry, it comes from quite traumatic things. I mean, there's trauma and trauma. I mean, I wouldn't say that there's smaller trauma or bigger trauma, but there are things that are very painful to watch, and there are others which are painful, but you can bear the pain, right? But what is important is when something truly traumatic happened, and you were experiencing incredible amount of pain in that moment, it's much better to watch it from outside rather than be there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That traumatizes people. So the quantum field allows you to watch whatever is happening, so that you not only see it through the eyes of that was there, because when you see something through your own eyes, it's a completely different thing compared to when you observe something, because you see so much more when you are in this observer position rather than you being there. Okay? So quantum field allows you to also understand other people who are involved in whatever is happening and like their perspective and see why they're doing what they're doing. And that gives you like kind of a whole picture of everything. And that allows you to learn lessons, to understand why did it have to happen to you? Well, not actually to you, but for you, because everything happens for you in any single moment. And for your growth, but once you see the lessons that you can take from that, that's kind of, you begin healing already because you are.
4 in 10 people believe in ghosts. Over a third of people believe intelligent life exists outside of Earth. 43% of you believe demons exist. We invite you to Beyond the Radar, your paranormal news show. If it's unexplained phenomena happening daily around the globe, we're talking about it. Exploring the unexplained, challenging the conventional, and diving deep into the shadows that lurk just beyond our perception. Come join the transmission on the United Public Radio Network. Once you come, you'll never be the same.
Day.
Do you want to reach millions with your product or service? Are you looking to connect with a diverse, intelligent, and engaged audience? Then look no further. Beyond the Radar radio show is your golden ticket to achieving just that. Our listeners are curious, open-minded, and always eager to learn. They value quality, authenticity, and innovation, just like your brand. With Beyond the Radar, your advertisement will be heard by millions of dedicated listeners. Our show covers a wide range of topics, attracting a diverse audience that could be your next loyal customers. So why wait? Take your brand to Beyond the Radar and into the hearts and minds of millions. Advertise with us. Let's explore the extraordinary together. Beyond the Radar radio show, where your brand meets a world of curious minds. Contact us today for advertising opportunities at www.beyondtheradarnews.com and fill out our contact form. We hope to talk to you soon.
Samantha survives a tragic accident thanks to Lucian, an enigmatic being. Her newfound abilities catch the attention of a secretive government agency. Drawn to Lucian despite the danger, Samantha is unaware of his true identity. She teams up with Lucian's brothers in a daring mission to rescue him. Accused unfairly, Lucian seeks refuge on his distant homeworld. Can Samantha prove Lucian's innocence and save their forbidden love? From the Sky by J.E. Nicasio. Available now. Get your copy on Amazon and BNN.
Have you ever looked up at the night sky and wondered what lies beyond? Have you ever felt a sense of curiosity about mysterious lights darting across the sky? If so, my UFO 101 Unveiling the Unknown course is just for you. This course is a comprehensive introduction into the fascinating world of unidentified flying objects and extraterrestrial life. It is designed for beginners, so no prior knowledge is required. I am your instructor, Tom. I am an author, podcast host, and seasoned researcher in the field ready to debunk common myths and misconceptions. So are you ready to embark on an exciting journey to unravel the secrets of the universe? Join us at UFO 101 Unveiling the Unknown, and let's explore the unknown together. Don't let this free opportunity fly away. Enroll now and start your journey into the intriguing world of UFOs and extraterrestrial life.
Integrating the lessons. And then, of course, there's an element of forgiveness, depending on the situation, but usually there's an element of forgiveness that you need to forgive the people who were involved in whatever happened. Sometimes forgive yourself. But basically the gist is that once you're in the quantum field, you see everything. You can feel it for yourself, like inside your body. Like when I work with people, they feel it a lot inside their body, in different areas. How it shows up for some people, it's like restriction in the throat. It can be like burning in your chest. It can be, well, there are different things. Some people have like, they tell me, I have pain in my knee right now. I'm feeling some pain in my knee, whatever, right? The body will kind of show you where it has been carrying that pain, that trauma. And as you keep healing through that method, that they will be lifted. Those areas of pain, they start kind of lifting from you. And so that's the first method. And as I said, first of all, I use it for people to release some repetitive patterns that they keep experiencing. And second of all, this is the method that is really, really more useful, or let's say more appropriate for the people who don't have a good connection with their body first yet. Because the other one that I was given, it is about working with the body and your higher self. So because they both carry different information, so the body will tell, well, the body is intelligent in itself, and it will always tell you what it stores where and what kind of stuff you're carrying. Well, the higher self can bring in wisdom, your own wisdom. When you're working in the quantum field, well, quantum field will show you things, but it will not tell you what you need to make out of that. You still need to come up with your own realizations of what it all means and what you have to learn. So that's kind of an important thing to know. But it will still show you a lot. Well, in this other method, which I call personally alchemized healing, it's really about accessing, understanding what's going on inside your body, what kind of lies you're telling yourself due to that trauma that you have experienced. Obviously, you started telling yourself something that's not the truth of who you are, of what you represent and whatever. So that's what creates the pain. That's what, it again, it just sits as an energy within your body, which is not the truth, and this untruth causes pain. So, and then you invite basically your higher self to the party to ask, so what's the truth? What is the truth that I need to see here? Like you address whatever is there and you clear out the untruth, basically. So, and this is much more appropriate with people who already have a good connection with their body and higher self. So obviously, because if you've never connected to your higher self, I wouldn't be able to connect you right away, or I could, but it might not necessarily be that strong. So it depends on the person. In the quantum healing, you don't need to be connected to your higher self and to your body, because when you're there, it will just come out. You don't need to read your body to know where it is. It will just freaking come out on you. Even though I always ask at the very beginning, for example, if they experience something, some situation, I will always ask people, how does it feel inside your body? Like once you're in that situation, imagine you're there. Imagine if you could place yourself in that thing again, even though it's not now, but we can always imagine and go there. They can tell me some of the things that come up inside their body, some obvious things, but not everything sometimes. But once you're there, once you're in that space in the quantum field, I always also warn them that a lot of physical symptoms will come out. It's normal. It's part of the process. It's part of the deal that you have to feel that pain, to eventually let it go. But they don't have to have that awareness from the very beginning. While in the second method, they will go and talk to their body. For example, I use it very often to heal physical things. For example, you have something physical going on inside your body. And how I would go into that is that we will connect to the body first to be sure that you're there, like that you're not talking with your mind, but rather with your body. And then we will ask, so why was this disease created? Why did it appear in the first place? And something will start coming up. Your body will start telling you things, and then we work with those things, inviting the higher self to the equation, to the party.
Yeah. That's a wonderful explanation. I was completely enthralled for the whole thing. What do people have to be prepared for this to see? Could it be too overwhelming at first, or it's not like that?
Well, we have like a pre-talk with it.
Okay.
I don't just dive into the healing right away. I explained a little bit how it works and how you might feel. But I would say prior to the session, no, they don't need any preparation. But I always tell them that if something is too overwhelming and you feel in the healing that it's too overwhelming, you come out of it. You just open your eyes and you're out. It's not like you're held prisoner inside there. And No, you can break the bond right away, like this connection, and come out. So which I always tell them that, you are in control, not me. So if it feels uncomfortable really, really too much, you come out. It happened only a couple of times, I would say, since I've been doing that already 2 years or even more now. I don't remember. I lost track, I think, honestly. But yeah, it happened a couple of times, but most of the time people bear it because, of course, I coach them that, pain is part of the deal. You have to let yourself feel it. Because if you're afraid to feel pain, you will not be able to heal. It's just like that. But what is kind of a good point at that moment is that I tell them, this is the last time you will feel that pain. It will not come out later. While if you keep it there, every time that something reminds you of that specific situation, it will come out anyway. It will be painful in that moment, and it will be over and over and over every time something reminds you of that. But once you've healed, it will not be the case anymore. So you have to allow yourself to feel that pain one last time, but fully, to the full extent. Not diminish it, not try to push it, whatever, but just be ready that it's part of the healing process. And then, it happens. And then you're free.
That's wonderful. I would definitely sign up for feel this pain for one time, and then you don't have to do it again. I think a lot of us would,
Feel free to do so. Anytime.
Okay. Is that an invite?
I will share anyway my website at the very end, where everything I have is. So if it speaks to you, if there is something that you want to do, of course, you're free to.
I think we both know it speaks to me.
Well, but you will be surprised how many people are not ready to feel the pain.
Well, no. A fear dominates a lot of our decisions on this planet, and it's new things are often scary, and you have fear for them.
And sometimes when you've lived with the pain for so long, it becomes something familiar. And you're afraid how it will feel when it's not there
without
anymore.
it.
Because it will change your entire life, and you might not be ready for that. Like we always say this, the devil that you know is better than the one that you don't, right? So very often people choose, okay, at least I know what I'm dealing with. I would rather stick with that then remove it, and then I don't know what's going to happen. Well, only beautiful things can happen, because whatever pain you carry creates misery in your life. And once you're free of the pain, you are free, like your vibration changes. Every time you remove something from yourself that is not aligned with who you are, your vibration rises, which means you become open and magnetic to more beautiful things to come, right? And that's usually what I say to people, when they do come and if some fear arises there, I will tell that. But I would say that most of the people who choose to heal with me, they already have that mindset, that I know that healing raises my vibration. And every time I remove the untruth, something that's not aligned with me, the pain from the past, the traumas, whatever, I rise. The payoff, I would say. Even though you don't know how exactly it will change, you can already be sure that the pattern will be gone once you've completed the whole healing process. So you're free to create a new pattern. Of course, you can recreate the old one. That's always a choice. But you don't have to.
That's amazing. That's so wonderful. I am so happy you chose to do this podcast, and I'm so happy to meet you, and I want to continue this dialogue. So I will be reaching out to you. But I want to thank you so much for being on our show, being on Labeled Paranormal, our wonderful guest. There's so many things to take away from this interview. It's wonderful. It's a new avenue that I've just started to come around on and research, and it's something that I didn't hear about a few years ago. So thank you for opening my eyes. I really do appreciate that. But now it's your time. I want you to promote everything about you. I want all of our listeners to support you, to reach out to you. If they have any question about something we interviewed and they want you to reply directly. So the time is yours. Please go ahead.
Thank you. So, as I told you, my main focus is on Starseeds. So I actually have a podcast as well, which is geared to helping Starseeds thrive.
Oh.
So it is called The Thriving Starseed. And you can find it basically at any main platforms out there, because I put it everywhere. But I guess we will be sharing the links with the audience anyway. So just to let people know that this is something where I come live every 10 days. Well, not live, but I record and put it out there every 10 days. And I share basically everything that I have learned and I have remembered from all my lives here. All this information to help people break their own patterns of struggle. Not people, but really specifically Starseeds, because what I'm talking is really for Starseeds. So that's the first thing that I would want to share. And if people want to continue further with me as a Starseed journey, there's a program that is also called The Thriving Starseed, but it basically goes deeper into what I discuss in the podcast. And it simply guides you through the things that I just tell you in the podcast. But there we do the practical side, like we do the guided journeys. We dive into your body, into other incarnations, into other lives, into your galactic origins, your other planets and lives, to heal whatever needs to heal, wherever it needs to heal. And well, it's not just about healing. Obviously, there's a lot of work about expansion, because healing is one part of it, but we also need to allow ourselves to grow and expand from a space of knowing that we are whole. But that's the main things that I have right now for Starseeds, I would say. And I would also like to share my website, where all of my services are there, not just for Starseeds, but also, of course, for people, for healing and things like that. I have a lot of different online programs. I have also several one-off sessions that you can start with me, and also programs that I offer more like longer period programs in different areas. So right now I am in this expansion phase. You caught me in the moment where a lot of ideas are buzzing in my hands.
That's
so
good.
I'm offering a lot of different programs, but unfortunately they're not on my website. They are on my social media, on my Facebook, where I'm posting different things that I'm working on. But it still remains the same. People can reach out to me with whatever area is relevant for them. But right now I'm working more in the area of how to set up your business and make it profitable. Healing, obviously, it's always one of the themes that I offer to people, whether it's in the body, like body healing, some physical illnesses that you have, or anything emotional and mental that you carry. So that it's always there. I offer now what I call a spring intensive, where you can work with me for 1 month very intensively to change one area of your life in 1 month. So that is in my social media things. But yeah, again, as I said, it's not on my website, but I will share anyway the access just to my website and the podcast so that people can already find me, because anyway, from there they can find me also on Facebook if they desire to go further and to follow me.
And you are a wonderful follow. I follow your Facebook. You're a wonderful follow. Plenty of uplifting and wonderful messages that can help anybody get through their day. So again, thank you so much for all of this. And thank you again, listeners, for listening and tuning into the Labeled Paranormal podcast where we touch on everything that's labeled paranormal. You can find us on all of the major platforms, just like Maria's podcast, and you can subscribe, leave us 5 stars, a comment, a review. Please, we love everything. And until next time, take care of each other, and we will talk soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Are you tired of the chaos that comes with organizing and storing your seasonal decorations? Moving to a new house or packing items away in the basement or storage unit? Say goodbye to the hassle with Smart Label's QR code labels. With Smart Labels, you can easily track all of your belongings. Simply stick the QR code label on your boxes, scan them with the Smart Labels app, and type in the contents. Next time you need to find something, you just need to scan the label, and the app will tell you exactly what's inside. No more guessing games or digging through boxes. Plus, you can add your photos, notes to each label, making it easier to stay organized. Stay organized, save time, and make your life stress-free with Smart Labels QR code labels. Get yours today on Amazon and Walmart.com and experience the convenience for yourself.